Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee Books and Rain, where I am actually on vacation. I did steal the lamp that's over there to kind of put behind my camera, so I have a little bit of lighting on the front side, but we are in Pensacola. I've got my boys sitting here, as this is probably one of the better places to record, is the room that I've been sleeping in. The rest of the house is really nice, but it's really open and there's a lot of echoes. So we're going to go from here. We do have coffee in this really cool mug that is here at the Airbnb. And so, yeah, we're going to continue diving into books because that is what we do, is we dive into books. We've got coffee, we've got books, and happily we don't have rain because I'm on vacation and I don't really want rain this weekend while I'm at the beach. But we are talking today about The Mystery of the Haunted Dance Hall. And this is by Charis Cotter or Charis Cotter. And I ran across this book on NetGalley, wanted to listen to it, or not listen to it, but read it, because of course it's kind of a teen YA mystery, lake lakeside summer camp vibes. So thought that could be pretty cool. And so that's what one of the books that I've read while I've been here has been, is this one, The Mystery of the Haunted Dance Hall. And so let's just dive into the summary and we'll go from there. Set in the 60s at a summer camp, The Mystery of the Haunted Dance Hall is a spooky, atmospheric middle grade story for fans of classic ghost stories, unlikely friendships, and intriguing mysteries. Bee's mom has a job in New York City for the summer, so Bee is sent to summer camp. She's not excited about it. Being around people is hard for her. Plus, she knows nothing about campfires. She's not a good swimmer, and she's never been in a canoe. When she first arrives, things go pretty much as she expected. The other girls either make fun of her or ignore her, and the woods surrounding the camp give her woods surrounding the camp give her the she keeps hearing elusive music coming from somewhere in the distance. Okay, so that's not really phrased very well. We may want to tailor that a little bit more. That doesn't make a lot of sense. She keeps hearing elusive music coming from somewhere in the distance, and there's something unearthly about it. But then Zippy comes on the scene, an oddball like Bee, but with more confidence and the hard won knowledge gleaning from many summers spent at this exact camp. And most importantly, Zippy has also discovered mysterious behavior going on at the older girls from the Hawks cabin as they sneak out to do something. It's kind of a long summary, isn't it? Well, they're always exhausted and their flashlight batteries are always running out at an alarming rate, but their counselors are never woken up by the girls sneaking out. No one on staff doing nightly rounds ever sees them outside the cabin, and even when they start doing bed checks at night, all the girls seem to be in their bunks. So, what's going on with that? Zippy and Dee are on the case with the help of an unlikely ally. They try to figure out what the Hawks are up to, but then they soon discover that what's going on is more than just usual summer hijinks. How are the Hawks getting out at night? What is the deal with the quote-unquote very cute mysterious boy who seems to be working with the groundskeeper? And where is the distant music coming from? What does this reclusive camp founder and what does the reclusive camp founder have to do about it? Okay, that's kind of long. And I will say, yeah, you could have figured that out probably in the first 100 pages of the book. So my first just note is I think this book was longer than it needed to be. It was like about 400 pages, and right here it says on the Kindle edition it's $3.91, which is fine. But this book, a middle grade summer camp book, does not require 400 pages. And I did feel like I didn't need 400 pages. Definitely could have gotten away with probably half of that, if maybe closer to like 250, something like that. This book will be published on May 13th of 2025, so I may be a day or two. No, I think I'm going to try to record and release this on the same day. So happy May 13th. It's not a Friday, which would have been great for this book to be released on like Friday, May 13th, but May 13th does not come on a Friday. It comes on a Wednesday. I think today is Wednesday. Yes, it is. So let's dive into my thoughts real quick as we kind of break down this book. I thought it was fun. It is kind of lighthearted. It's a little claggy. And when I say that, I think it's because there's so many pages that the author is trying to fill. I am not certain why it was as long as it was. So there were a lot of points where I felt like there wasn't just a ton going on. We are middle graders in this particular book. I know they tell us how old, but each of the camps is broken up by age. So the camp is a all girls camp. Not supposed to be any boys here. We are not co-ed mingling. And so it's supposed to be a girls' summer camp for about a month. And so this is Phoebe's or B's first summer camp experience. And so far, she's hating it. She's hating it. She tends to be a bit of an outcast in her regular life. So she's a bit of an outcast here in summer camp as well. And she's just not having a good time fitting in. There seems to be some other girls that are like the popular girls or like the bullies, I guess you could call them, the ones who have the followings, but they're not super nice to everybody, and I guess that's how they get their following. I don't know. I have actually never been to summer camp. It was never a thing that I did. I would go spend a week with my aunt and cousins, and that would be summer camp for me. So, B has gone to summer camp. Her mom can't really take her with her while she's doing, it seems like some sort of professorship or adjunct professorship in New York City. And so B is feeling very out of her element. Until one day, she is, one of the bully girls, her name is Felicia. You know, the whole bye Felicia thing comes right in there. Anyway, Felicia takes B's flashlight, and she was at the washroom, so now she's got to walk back to her cabin without her flashlight, and she's not very good with navigating in the woods, so she gets lost pretty quickly. Well, she runs across somebody in the dark in the woods, and of course B is kind of freaking out because B does not do well in the dark. And we do learn that B has a little bit of either trauma related to the dark or she has just trauma in general, but there seems to be a couple things about B that are a little she's kind of paranoid, or I guess that's not really the right word, hesitant about a lot of things. Like she doesn't really like to go outside. She doesn't spend a lot of time outside. Her room is her safe space. And so this summer camp is absolutely throwing her off. She does have an ability where her sense of hearing is apparently incredibly heightened. So she kind of does what she calls builds gates, or like to block out certain amounts of sound. But otherwise, she's incredibly sensitive to sound. And so she can hear people talking from pretty far distances. You okay, puppy? Little hairball? Okay. Then as she's stumbling back to her cabin, finds out she's going the wrong way to her cabin. She runs across Zippy, and I think Zippy's name is really Zipporah, but goes by Zippy, and according to the other campers, they call Zippy Snippy. And I don't know if it's because she's just got a sharp wit and fast tongue and she's kind of snips at people in that sarcastic-y sort of way, but honestly, these other campers absolutely deserve it if that's why she got the name. They call B Bermuda because I guess when B's mom took her shopping, B's mom got her Bermuda shorts, which if you don't know what they are, you can Google them, but they tend to come down to about the knee. And so I guess that's not the height of fashion for perhaps a 12-year-old girl. And so the other girls in her cabin, which are I think called the Flickers, I think is right, the Flickers, they kind of make fun of her a little bit because she is not in the peak of fashion according to whatever their standards are. So going from there, we now have the duo of B and Phoebe, and there is there's a mystery to be solved because we do have the Hawks, who are like, I think let's say like the 15-year-old cabin, because they are broken out by age. So like the 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 14-year-olds, each are their own cabins. And so we got the Flickers, which are like, I guess, the 12-ish year olds, and going up from there. Well, Felicia has a sister in the Hawk camp, or in the Hawk house. And apparently the Hawks is like the only group who battery in their flashlights go out every night, like the batteries run out dry, as well as the Hawks always being exhausted, like absolutely exhausted. So it's like they're not sleeping through the night, even though we do kind of explore a little bit and we peek in on them a little bit. Of course, Zippy and Bee do. And that's when, like, we hear the music, and, well, especially Bee. Bee specifically hears the music because, of course, her kind of heightened sense of hearing. But this becomes the mystery we have to solve, is what is going on with the Hawks, and what is going on with this mystery music. Are the Hawk girls like going somewhere at night? Are they going out partying every night? Because for some, I mean, personally, even when I was like 15 or 16, could not have gone out dancing every night. But something is happening, and none of the Hawks are talking. None of the Hawks seem to really know anything going on either. And yet one night, Bee does hear, with her hearing, it sounds like the Hawks getting ready to go to a party. They're like, can I borrow this? Can I borrow that? Can you help me do your hair? Or can you help me do my hair? That sort of thing. And so we've got that as well as kind of like a little nod to what's going on. I don't want to try to spoil that to tell you what might be actually going on. I'm just going to kind of keep that as a little bit of a secret. But it took me a minute to kind of realize this was set in the 1960s. I don't think I fully recognized that right off. No real telltale signs for me, unless that was the telltale sign was that summer camps were a huge thing in the 60s. I mean, maybe, didn't we get Jason Voorhees in some like the 50s, 60s, 70s? Something like that. I think like the 70s. Camp Crystal Lake. That is not child friendly. Don't watch that if you are a child. But I do not say my videos are child friendly, just simply because I know a lot of the books that I read are not always child friendly. And honestly, it's just better for me if I don't. It would probably be fine on some of them, especially some of the YA middle grades that I read. However, there's quite a few that I just don't recommend either, and I don't really distinguish between the two. But I thought the book was really pretty fun, pretty cute. Again, it does go a little slow, and it's a little cumbersome at time because it takes us so long to actually get to the mystery solving part. That's probably my biggest critique of the book, is it goes a little slow. So if you're looking for something, like, I could picture this to be a much quicker read with diving into that mystery a little faster. I'm not sure if the author was simply building these friendships or what have you in order to kind of establish that sort of thing, but I think we could have done it in a better lead in, because I just felt like for the first half, it's very slow. So that's just my thinking on it. But again, since it's the summer, and since we are kind of like, I'm at the beach, kind of made me think it was a good time to also read a book about a summer camp. Now, again, I've never been to summer camp, so the only, knowledge I have of what summer camps are about is TV and movies, and probably Hey Dude, but that really wasn't a summer camp. It was more like a Wild West getaway sort of thing. I don't know. It's a TV show. You can go find it on Netflix, or not Netflix, Nickelodeon. But pretty cute. Definitely middle grade. And because you can tell by the dialogue between some of the characters that it's middle grade, and they're a little whiny, but of course middle grade. So I can't critique that too much. You're writing about kids who are at summer camp. They really maybe don't want to be here, and so that's just what we get. But all in all, not a terrible book. I probably give it about a 3.75 stars just for me, because honestly, like I said, the biggest critique was how slow it was to get to what's going on. There you go. That's my thoughts. But thank you so much for tuning in while I'm on vacation. So I know my quality is not as great as it usually is, even if y'all think my quality's not great anyway. That's okay. But I still wanted to be able to review my books for you guys and get them out in as timely of a manner as I could. I think I've got at least one more book I need to go ahead and record for you guys. And then I'm going to try to also get Fridays read today while I'm at the beach. Like right now, it's pretty early-ish in the morning. We're going to head to the beach probably in about an hour and a half and probably spend the whole day. So I should have the whole day to read my next book. And then I should be able to maybe come back on Friday, maybe looking a little more burnt. As we can see, we've got a little suntan going on here. And yes, I've got SPF like 42 or something. I usually put something much higher on my face, and I keep applying it. But the first day I was out there, I was a little slow in getting my spots all hit, and I did have a couple lines to show up on that first day. But I've been very religious about it ever since. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If you have not liked and subscribed already, I hope you will. And with all of that being said, from me and the boys, little Argos, little Leo over here, we thank you, and we will see you on the next page. Have a great one. Bye.